Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm here at the Scottsdale Barrett-Jackson event, and guess what? Look what we have. This is gonna be going across the block for the opportunity to have VIN 001. This is it. This is your 2022 GMC Hummer Edition 1. But before we dive into this electrified pickup truck, let's talk about what's going on here. GMC is tapping in to the name Hummer. Originally, it was a brand all upon itself. Hummer basically existed from 1992 to about 2010 under the General Motors umbrella. But what they've decided to do, since Hummer is no more, is take that iconic name and attach it to this vehicle. Now, the wonderful news is that this is the first of what's gonna basically be a sub-brand within GMC. So we start off with Edition 1. Eventually, there'll be other trims, but what's more important is GMC is gonna be bringing eventually a Hummer electrified SUV. Now, going Edition 1, they kind of simplified the whole process. This is fully loaded. And I hope you like the color, because this is the color of choice on this Edition 1. And wait until we get to the interior, where there's some lunar rock landings that are gonna be taking place and some amazing technology. Obviously, the competition is getting fierce when it comes to electrification. You got Tesla with that Cybertruck that looks like a doorstop. Ford is saying they're working on their EV truck, but has GMC hit the sweet spot with what they're bringing to the table and having that name Hummer connected with it? Let's go ahead, let's find out, is this the electrified pickup truck that you should be dreaming about? And who's gonna win the chance to have VIN 001? Let's find out. Right off at the front of the business, it just has that nice, bold look. GMC did a great job with taking the past of the Hummer and bringing it into the 21st century. So when we start off at the front of the business, I love all the LED lighting. You can see there's almost that H in there. You drop down all LED lower fog lamps. You have almost like that carbon flash metallic cover, which is that thing that's used on a lot of GM products. Looks good, better than just gloss black. As we drop down, you're gonna get plenty of ground clearance, over 11 inches of ground clearance. And the great news is you're gonna have that suspension, air suspension that you can raise and lower. Since we're talking about the front, you're looking at 3 electric motors for a combined horsepower rating of 1,000 horsepower. 2 electric motors up front, 1 out back, gives us all-wheel drive. Another interesting thing is the torque. Now, originally, they advertised a torque reading of around 11,500 pound-feet of torque. I'm gonna have to zonk that, because they used a different calculation. This has around 1,000 pound-feet of torque. Now, if you look, with the wheel and tire setup, this is the first vehicle that has 4-wheel steering that will actually allow it to crab walk. So what that means is that the tires will be able to turn, and then the vehicle goes sideways, left to right. That is a first when it comes to this type of technology. And if you like 0 to 60 times, this truck 0 to 60 in 3 seconds flat. We come across the front here, you're gonna notice that bold Hummer name. I like the boldness to it. Really looks so nicely connected to the Hummer of the past, but now we got that GMC connection. Some carbon flash metallic on the lower portion. I love the style of the tow hooks. And of course, you're gonna get metal skid plate protection all the way underneath the vehicle. But this is the one color. And if you're wanting one of these are already sold out. Price tag around $112,000. Now, as we come around the bend, the bold lines on the hood, a little bit of gloss black. Now, if you're wondering what's under the hood, there's actually a frunk. You're gonna have storage space at the front, since this is electrification. Electrified motor. We come around the bend, and what are we working with? You're gonna have a nice flared fender look with that carbon flash metallic. We drop down and you have these gorgeous 18-inch wheels. Beadlock for that off-road and taking it to all sorts of terrain. You're looking at that 35-inch tire, that Goodyear Wrangler Duratec tire that's gonna really be able to grab the rocks and the off-road capability. That air core suspension, and like I said, all 4 wheels, front and back, you could crab walk side to side with this vehicle. That is a first. Now we come down the side. I love the design, the GMC touches, the way they all brought it together. Very, very nicely done. Even how we come around on the side here, this body line, it gives it that nice flared fender look. I'm gonna have Lori kind of swing around and show that flared fender look. You got the Hummer EV badge, very bold, very prominent. Great style on the running boards, and really just the proportions. I'm 6 feet tall. You can see where this sits. As we come a little closer, we have that infinity roof. What that means is, take everything off, and guess what? If you've been craving your T-top days, for the rear passengers, we have the T-tops making a triumphant return. Continue down the side, the Hummer EV badge on the running board, all the way to the rear. Remember, crab walk, these are gonna be able to move. And then as we come around out back, love the work on the LED lighting. More of that carbon flash metallic. I'm a little curious how this is gonna wear over time. So we may have a future Zonk in store on that material on the bumper. But as we drop down, you're gonna get that massive tow hooks out back, nice touches. This even has, believe it or not, launch control. Watts to freedom power, gonna get that launch control, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. And of course, because this is a GMC truck, you're gonna get that multifunctional 6-position tailgate. Now, as we rise up, I want Laura to kind of showcase that back window area. The reason why is that that has dropping glass. So you could get that full open air experience with the removable roof panels and the way the glass drops down very nicely. And as we come around, the GMC badge, that Hummer EV badge, so great to see that name back in the industry, and what better way to do it than on an electric truck. But why don't we go ahead, let's show the interior of this Hummer EV. All right guys, before we get to the interior, this we're doing a little bit different because this one is gonna be going across the auction block. GMC has been gracious enough to allow us as much access as they can. And of course, we're here at Barrett-Jackson, so being live, the lighting is a little different than what we're normally used to, so just bear with us. And of course, regulations require the face mask, but we're gonna still make this work as best as we can. Now, probably the biggest question you have, besides the price, which we already mentioned, is gonna be that range. What GMC is expecting is a range around 350 miles on this GMC Hummer, but let's see some of the great touches that makes this a unique vehicle just overall. Starting at the door panel, I really love the style with the gold, the nice two-tone, the way they brought the white to the interior, even the beautiful work on the door handles really shows a thought process that GMC is bringing. And I was talking about the moon, guess what? You have the Sea of Tranquility right from the surface of the moon on the speaker cover, and you know what? You got a nice storage area here on the door pocket for some moon rocks. And of course, space ice cream. You need some astronaut ice cream. Now, when we get to the interior, I love the bronze touches. You're gonna have a 12.3 inch. So if you like your 12 inches, you're gonna get your 12 inches with this GMC Hummer. Beautiful display, steering wheel, nice graphics, the Hummer name, all the fine touches there. Looks so elegant. And then look at the pedals. They actually made the pedals look like moon boots to really give you that great style. And when it comes to storage, you're gonna get, of course, that bridge system. Being an EV, you have a totally flat floor that allows you to really open up the amount of space. You can see the shifter on the top of the center console there. Remember, this is a single direct drive setup to give you that 1,000 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, different modes. And I just love the fact that it has that removable roof. And then of course you're gonna get the great space for your passengers, and they're gonna be able to experience that open air with that whole T-top design. Love the two-tone color, really just brings everything alive, and how the rear glass is gonna drop down so very nicely. But why don't we go ahead, we're kind of doing this a little flip-flop. Let's get to the passenger side and see what your passenger up front is gonna be experiencing in the new Hummer. All right guys, passenger time. I'm gonna drop out, have Lori kind of slip in. This is where your front seat passenger is gonna be sitting. I love the amount of space that they have. The way the dash is nice far forward, and guess what? If you like 12 inches, guess what? 13 inches, a baker's dozen is even better. So that's an over 13-inch infotainment system display that was designed, the technology was designed by Epic Games to give such clear graphics. I love the toggle switches and the way they integrated the AC vents as we come across from the infotainment system with all those different functions. Remember, you're gonna have different modes and everything. On the dash up front, it's got Edition 1. This is that top trim, only available in this color, and this one is gonna be VIN 001. The seating is nice. Even the way they did the center console lid, the shifter, I like the way they took those bronze touches, and it's not just a sea of gloss black material, which is awesome as well. And I can't wait to get behind the wheel of one of these, but I think for somebody who's as tall as myself, 6 feet tall, really good. Even the way they did the Hummer name, nice, clean, all the stitch work. It really shows what GMC has been doing just with their vehicles overall, elevating the materials. Of course, you're gonna have your full electric assist, all the setup. But why don't we go ahead, let's kind of toggle back. We're gonna close the front door and we're gonna see what those rear passengers are gonna experience, especially with that T-top design in the back of the Hummer EV. All right, guys, backseat time for your passengers. They're gonna get the same great touches with the Sea of Tranquility on the speaker cover. And then as you transition in, of course, you have the rear seat that will fold up and that center console that has the rear AC, the vents, USB-C and USB. And guess what? There is room for your electrified Twinkies and even a home power source down at the bottom. And having that flat floor just means that everybody is guaranteed the same amount of space. I like the backs of the seats with the pockets, nice large size. You could keep your lunar map, your lunar landing map in those pockets back there. Really, Buzz Aldrin and the rest of the astronauts would be so proud of what GMC is doing. And of course, that massive armrest in the center really allows the comfort, and you have the open air experience with the removable roofs. But you know what? Since this is a truck, we're gonna wrap it up at the tail end of the business. Let's see what the bed looks like with that tailgate open. All right, guys, of course, this being a truck, one of the most important things is the bed access, especially not just the size of the bed, but of course, GMC system. It has that 6-position tailgate to get in and out of the truck. Such a smart system, especially when you're trying to get from the ground into the bed. And you can see just how wide, how flat. And once again, just to remind you, that rear glass does drop down, and the way they did the third brake light up there really looks so classy and futuristic. It's almost like I said, like somebody went back in time to 1992, got a Hummer, and turned it into a truck. But the great news is, this is what's gonna build excitement for EVs. I know I'm definitely excited to see what this truck is all about, especially with 1,000 horsepower. And I think that the way GMC has used the Hummer name is gonna help build that excitement, just like Ford has used the Mustang name to build the excitement with the Mach-E. But I definitely wanna thank Sean, Chad, and the rest of the people here from General Motors, GMC, Cadillac, and everybody else for allowing Rady's Rides some private time with this Hummer. If you wanna keep seeing these types of unveils when we're at the events, leave a comment in the comment section. If you think that this is the truck to get, the electric truck to get, I want to know what your thoughts are. Leave that in the comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it'll be worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content, click that link. That'll make you become a Patreon member. And click the second link, get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the queen of the camera. She's outside the barrier, she's inside the barrier. She is all over this GMC Hummer. Throw her some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.